Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Rumapa, welcoming all to Chaitanya Studio of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad. We are dealing with lecture series of postgraduate diploma in human resource in the subject of human resource planning. Students, in the last lecture, we have come to know about what is human resource planning. We focused on human resource, the meaning of human resource planning, the pros, the cons, the features, the importance of human resource planning. Today, we will focus on block 3. In the block 3, we will focus on unit 3, which is all about human resource planning in organization, in industries, right? So, let's start with the block objectives. So, after learning this unit, you will be able to understand the purpose of human resource planning, the basic unit of human resource planning, the human resource planning inputs and the results, the drivers of human resource planning, how to meet the challenges of human resource planning. So, HR planning is a deliberately formulated business strategy on the basis of current and future business predictions related to the acquirement, operation, growth, and maintenance of the human resource, mostly in large organizations. So, the process helps in recruitment of apt people and retaining them in the right profile of varying job positions and places according to the organizational needs. So, HR planning process ensures that the organization which implements its plans has the right number and the kinds of people at the right places at the right time. Okay, so this planning process finds appropriate people who are capable of performing the assigned task effectively and efficiently. So this helps the organization to achieve its planned objectives. So, prevailing business and societal trends affect the planning process in two major ways. So, one is through consumer markets, so which affect the demand for goods or for services, and the other is through labor markets, so which affect the supply of people needed to produce goods and services. So, one of the major challenges of the HR department is to maintain a flexible workforce. So, HR planning helps by handling these challenges. So, HRP is done at different levels: corporate, intermediate, and operations level, and for short-term activities too. So, a good and a suitable human resource planning exercise should always consider the inputs of all the departments in the organization. So, HRP always has the support of the top management. A good human resource professionals must have a good understanding of the market dynamics. So, the changes in the economy, the organizational process and technological developments that would make be better equipped for human resource planning. The process of HRP involves 3 key steps. Now, let's start with the process. So this the first one is assessing and making an inventory of the current human resource, forecasting the organization human resource needs and matching the demand and supply of human resources. The next one, that is forecasting process. Forecasting process involves the study and estimation of various factors that affect the business. Now, the next, human resource planning for large organizations differs from that in smaller organizations owing to different contexts and aspects. So, Moving forward to the next, that is purpose of human resource planning. So the first one, that is determining recruitment needs. The second one, that is determining training needs. The third one, that is management development. The fourth one, that is balancing the cost between utilization of plant and workforce. And the fifth one, that is industrial relation. Now, moving forward to the next, that we need to know about the stages in human resource planning, the process analysis. So here we can see there is a 5 process. So human resource, mostly in large organization, it happens. The process helps in recruitment of apt people and training them in the right profile of varying jobs, positions and places according to the organization needs. So this HR planning process ensures that the organization which implements its plans has the right number of people at the right places and the right time. The planning process finds appropriate people who are capable of performing tasks effectively and efficiently. So this helps the organization to achieve its planned objectives. So prevailing business and social trends affect the planning process in 2 major ways. One is through consumer markets, which affect the demand for goods and services, and the other is through labor markets, which affect the supply of people needed to produce goods and services. So one of the major challenges of the HR department is to maintain a flexible workforce. So HR planning helps by handling these challenges. So HRP is done at a corporate intermediates and the operations levels and short-term activities too. So a good and suitable human resource planning exercise should always consider the inputs of all the departments. So HRP always has the support of the top management. So a good human resource professional must have a good understanding of the market dynamics challenges in the economy, organizational process and technological developments. So that would make be better equipped for human resource planning. So the process of HRP involves 3 key steps. So it's assessing the marketing inventory of the current human resources, forecasting the organization human resource needs, and matching the demand and supply of human resource. So forecasting process involves the study and the estimation of various factors that affect the business. Now, the next one, that is assessment of an overall human resource requirements, involves studying the factors affecting the supply, estimating the decreases in the external and internal supply of human resources. So every movement in an organization calculated, such as new hires, transfers, individuals returning from leaves, etc., that increases the internal supply of human resource, while retirement, dismissals, transfers out of the unit, layoffs, voluntary quits, so prolonged illness and death, that reduces the supply. Now, next one, that is, the HR planning process identifies particular areas of the organization where shortage, the surpluses, exits. So it is need of downsizing the organization's common strategies that are opted for retrenchment. It may be layoffs, then outplacement, and leave and the absence without pay, giving out loan, work sharing, reduces work hours, early retirement, and attrition to reduce the number of employees. So an effective HRP, they involve the management and employees both by maintaining well-planned employment and retrenchment process, which remains phased out over a comfortable time span, avoiding unpleasant consequences. So manpower function is one of the newer areas, to be brought under the mental systematic planning. So human resource planning helps in better allocation and control of the organization's manpower resources. So a concept closely tied to the HRP is that the manpower forecasting. So human resource planning is a process by which an organization prepares of an inventory of skills and potential available in the organization. It involves the use of the concept of the planning and visualize how the organization can go through the allocation and control of its manpower resources in better fashion. It is, in other words, it is a tool in that hands, the higher management to equip themselves with the necessary data on human resource available immediately within the organization and from outside. So HRP, so with the changing time, the approaches to human resource planning in work organization also changes considerably, right? So why HR planning for corporates? That's also we need to know. So HR planning makes sure that usage of manpower and takes advantage of the strength of HR in that organization, right? So yes, so the organization often will have a pool of aptitude at any point of the time. So people's capabilities are instantly available to perform the assigned task. So if the information is composed and arranged in advance, so organization and in turn invites too much of debate which reflects the changes in business approaches. So human resource planners, they have to study about different aspects of human resource planning and management, and after considerable deliberation, they decide upon what aspect of planning should be among the priority, considering the ongoing changes in almost all aspects of life. Right. So managing large work organization work become a complex due to several, several key considerations about the supply and demand of HR practitioners and skilled personnel in the different industries. Okay. Now, let's start with what are the key points. So, human resource planning for large organization differ from that in smaller organization owing to different contexts and aspects. Well, the structure and size of organization does not govern the choices about human resources. Researchers, show that they have a strong influence on the way human resources are managed, regulated, and planned. So, important activities of human resource management like recruitment, promotion, performance appraisal, compensation, training and development, labor relations, job design, and career development have a big impact, because of the major differences caused due to the size of organization. Okay, so human resource, human resource planning is about managing the most important area of all, the effective employment of people, the changes and the pressures brought about by economic, technological, and social factors compel organizations of all kinds to study the cost and human aspects, of the labor much more serious than ever before. So the general purpose of human resource planning has been described, right? So this is a determining recruitment needs. So an important prerequisite to the process, of recruitment is to avoid problems of unexpected shortages, wastages, blockages in the promotion flow, and needless, redundancies. So determining this needs, the large business help them maintain a smooth flow of activities. So determining training needs. So training programs should be properly planned. These programs not only improve the quality of employees in terms of the skills required by the organization, right? So for maintaining the effectiveness of an organization, it's very essential to have a succession, the management plan. So this huge, so this information present unique requirements of the company in all management posts. So large industry cannot risk their decision making and execution process but lacking in, the development activities. So balancing the cost balance, the utilization of plant and workforce. So cost balancing includes the comparison of cost between these two resources in different combination of HR processes and selecting an optimum. So while costing projects, cost balancing plays an important role. Thus, this enable the enlargement of the organization. So all the businesses plan and make assumptions about the growth by the considering the productivity of their human resource. This gives a broader picture that about the business problem and the solutions over there. Right. So practically HR planning is mostly concerned with the demand and supply of labor and the problems arising from the process of reconciling these factors. Okay, so now already we have learned this, so we will see one by one. So the first one, that is the assessment of HR, start with the analysis of environmental under which external, the pace and the internal objective resources and structure are evaluated in order to find out the present HR inventory level. So this assessment of the internal and external forces of the organization will facilitate HR manager to reveal the strength and weaknesses, opportunities to in front of the society, in front of the organization. So above all, it includes all the records and workers and their skills that are existing at present in the organization and complete job analysis. Now, the demand forecasting. So HR forecasting is a procedure measuring demand and supply of HR in an organization. And demand forecasting is very important. It's very important when we are learning human resource planning. So demand forecasting is a procedure of finding out the future requirements for HR according to the required quantity and quality. It is done to it is done for upcoming staff requirement. So why it is required, this demand forecasting? To attain the required level of output. So upcoming human resource requirements can be evaluated with the aid of the organization's present human resource condition and a study of organization strategy and measures. It will be obligatory to execute year by year study for each important stage and category. Now moving forward to the next, that is supply forecasting. So supply is a different side of human resource assessment. It deals with the estimation of supply of manpower given the estimate of the present resource and upcoming availability of human resource in the organization. It gives an idea of the future resource of HR that are probably to be accessible from inside and outside the organization. So the insights resources are promotion, job enlargement, the resources are selection, then recruitment of employees who have the capability of doing, the prescribed tasks in the organization. Moving forward to the next, that is matching demand and supply. So this steps of human resource planning comprises the forecast of future demand and supply of HR. The matching method refers to convey demand and supply in a systematic situation so that scarcity and excess the staffing positions will be revolved. The organization has to recruit according to the required quantity of employees. So on the other hand, in a stage that staffing in the organization has to reduce the level of present employment. Next, that is action plan. So the final phase of human resource planning that deals with the surplus and scarcity of human resources. By the virtue of it, the HR plan is implemented. So the help of varied in HR activities, the key activities which are needed to implement the HR plans are recruitment, selection, placement, then training, development, socialization, etc. So in the last stage is the control and assessment of performance of HR to ensure that the HR planning, coincidence the HR objectives and the policies. Moreover, this action plan must be updated in accordance with the change in the times and the conditions. Right? Okay. Now moving forward to the next, that is why are HR planning? Obviously. Why it is required, right? So current business challenges insist an agenda of human resources which is focused to close up opening between the strategies HR has and HR's not have. So to attach people's priority to business priorities, the HR practitioners require a considerate. So, but a sensible move towards the HR planning process, thereby clarifying line position for HR outcomes and document a contract for the responsibility that HR people will have across divisions, right, in a large organization. So, the conflict in the planning process is to attain intensity of thinking without difficulty in a way that engages in the management in the process. So, HR planning makes sure that the usage of manpower and take advantage of the strength of HR in that organization. So the organization often will have a pool of aptitude at any point of time. People's capabilities are instantly available to perform the assigned task. If the information is composed and the arrange sorry for my bad throat and arranged in advance. So suppose the organization needs an increase its range of operation, it can go ahead easily, effortlessly. So the advanced planning makes sure that constant, this advanced planning they always made sure to advance, to advance their plan. So supply your people with the mandatory skills who can handle tough jobs effortlessly. So it also helps to determine the recruitment and induction levels. So if there is a ready to HR plan, it will help to give a fairly good idea about the type of people are being employed and at what position. So thus the induction level can be successfully planned according to the anticipated redundancies, surpluses, and right. So the HR planning also helps to determine the training levels, right? So as the best for the management development programs, moreover the knowledge of the cost of this manpower according to a new project is also determined, and hence our budgetary allocation can be made in a upcoming corporate pre-demarcated move, right? So now moving forward to the next, that we need to learn, that is key points for successful HR planning. So to get success in HR plans, the most important that is that we need to know. So there are 7 points that we can see. Yes. So yeah, start with the actually with this, HR planning must be recognized as an integral part of overall business planning. So HR planning should be led by the CEO as his core responsibilities. So the manpower planner needs to know the company's objectives in terms of sales, marketing, and growth. So top management backing and involvement for manpower planning is an essential and should receive its rightful place hierarchically. So the HR planning responsibility should be developed in a consultation with the line managers and their representatives. So the forecast period should be prepared by skill levels rather than by aggregates of the workers. So both the forecasting techniques and the forecasts themselves needs to be constantly revised and improved in the light of experience. So human resource is a key economic resource. It therefore demands the same attention a company gives to planning sales, investment or profits. So it is the fact that has led to the development of manpower. It is the fact that led to the development of the manpower planning among an increasing number of business organizations. So for the company, the returns from manpower planning can be measured in terms of higher efficiency and productivity as a result of a better utilization of its manpower resources and the elimination of waste in recruitment, then training and other personal schemes. So it is clear that a company cannot hope to forecast accurately about its future manpower requirements unless these are related to future productions and sales levels. So the best results therefore is twofold, which is achieved when a company has integrated HR planning with the overall business plan to interpret the forecast for production and sales, along with the labor constraints on account of company policy for the future. So the first task of a company must be ensured that the estimate is as reliable as possible. So HR planning is continuously ongoing process, and companies that treat it as a 5-year burdensome task will be deeply disappointed. So in fact, it is preferable that they do start this task, as it may turn into a ritual, right? So yes, so even the most carefully calculated forecast are liable to be overtaken by unforeseeable changes. So going for the first, that is tailor-made. So HRP should be balanced with corporate objectives. Second one, proper time. So the period of HRP process should be appropriate to the needs and circumstances of an organization. The third one, that is adequate management. So HRP process should be adequately, properly organized. Next one, top management support. Before starting the HRP process, the support and commitment of top management should be ensured. Next, that is participation. HRP, the human resource planning, will be successful if all the departments in an organization participate in the process. Next one, that is information system. So an adequate database should be developed for facilitating HRP. Next one, that is unbiased focus. So the quality, the quantity and the quality should be stressed, in a balanced manner. Moving forward to the next, that is strategic advantages of HR planning. So strategic HR planning is an important part of, the strategic HR management, as it helps to link the, HR management directly to the strategic plan of your organization, right? So most of the medium to large size organization have a premeditated, plan that directs the organization to success, right? The organization usually complete financial plans to make sure that they attain the organizational goals, and while workforce plans are not as frequent, so they are just as essential. It to be noted that a small organization with as few as 10 staffs can build up a strategic plan to direct decisions about the future. So on the basis of the strategic plan, an organization can build up a strategic HR plan that will permit to make HR management. So choice to maintain the expectations of the organization, strategic HR planning is also vital from a budgetary point of view, so that you can this factor can cost recruitment, training, right, etc. into the organizational budget, right? Now, next, that is check your progress. Yes, this is the homework that you can do at your home. So even the answers are also cited below. Right? If you'd like to know more about these topics, you can go through all the books. Okay, so now here I'm concluding this session. So in this session, we have learned the HR planning is well expressed business strategy on the basis of present and upcoming business focus, and are mostly used in large industries. So the strategy articulates the needs as it exists in the present, and the preparation necessities formulation on the goals and the action plan for achievement of the organization or the workforce plan. Then, hence, HRP can be denoted, as a process by which an organization makes sure that it has the right number and kinds of people. So, at the right places, at the right time, and that these people are capable of performing the task efficiently and effectively and competently. So, this helps the organization to achieve its overall objectives. Right. So, in the last lecture, we will come to know the compensation management. So, we will come to know the definitions of compensation, the features, the advantages, the disadvantages. It's all about the pros, cons, even the importance. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all.